And we're live. Mike Stukas on my right. How you doing today, Mike?
I'm all right. I'm all right. Went out as Walter Sobchak from The Big Lebowski last night for Halloween, and you were my dude, so that was kind of fun.
It was great. I finally got to actually wear the sweater as the dude. And did we get recognized on the street at all? Do you think?
Yeah.
I know you
that
did.
One, that
No,
one
there were
guy was
people-
talking about Philip
no.
Seymour Hoffman, and Philip Seymour Hoffman
That's
is
right.
in The Big Lebowski.
Yeah, there were a
That's
lot of
another-
people who said stuff.
Dan got recognized. Dan Stewart.
Well, solely
right across
because
from me.
I just had a big billowy cape. Not a cape, it's a robe. Jedi tunic robe. And it was billowing behind me. And I have to say, we were walking by a bar down here in Columbia, Missouri called Booch's. It's a burger joint. And there was this big fat guy, and he had a beard, and he just looked at me with my billowing robe and my Obi-Wan costume going on and my lightsaber hanging from my belt, and he just had the biggest smile on his face. And he was so excited to see me dressed up like that. And that, I'll tell you what, that just that brightened my day. It made getting this whole costume together absolutely worth it because of that one guy.
Well, you know what was truly great about your costume is you didn't shy away from the fact that you were carrying a lightsaber. You had it almost like a cowboy taunts his gun with how he has the whatever it is, the duster or the robe behind the gun so you can show people.
Yeah.
You weren't hiding that lightsaber. It was out.
Well,
in
and
center.
also the wind wasn't allowing me to hide the lightsaber. Just as
It
I was
worked in your favor.
just as I was walking, like the wind was billowing my robe, and like it was just opening up like my hip, and it was showing off the lightsaber. But once I realized that I didn't really have to hold it in place, I mean, this is a pretty expensive lightsaber hilt we're talking about. So like I was a little worried to let it just free swing around in the little clip I had it on my belt. But once I found out that it's like really fucking secure in there, I just let it. I just like let my arms go too, and then it was swinging back and forth like on my hip as I was walking, and I felt cool. I felt real cool.
The only thing we were missing was a soundtrack or a musical score to some extent.
Yeah.
Next time I'll just follow you with a speaker and just blast it. It'll be good. What always looks fun is when movie stars will dress up as like their character, like when Jack Sparrow goes to the hospital to visit sick kids. That seems like it'd be fun. Like you'd get the same effect, but not with like an old fat guy, but like with kids being excited if like Chris Evans goes as Captain America. Like that would be really
Andrew
cool.
Garfield used to go as Spider-Man.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say he went as Garfield.
Why would he go as Garfield?
His
Andrew-
last name's Garfield.
Nothing points to that being the case at all.
I think Tom Holland's done it too.
Oh yeah.
I think they all do it. I would like to think so.
Would you guys visit sick kids?
Christian Bale couldn't. I remember there was this like Make-A-Wish kid who was like dying. And
Usually the case.
and his one wish was he wanted like Christian Bale to come visit him in the Batman costume. Christian Bale couldn't because like the Nolan trilogy had ended and he didn't have like the rights to the suit or whatever. So he couldn't visit that kid, and that kid probably died sad.
Jesus. Wow.
Well,
Doesn't that suck, huh?
It's not good.
Your one fucking wish is to see Batman.
Well, do you think he gets a second wish? Probably, right? They're like, oh, we can't do
they'd
it.
help him out, right?
Yeah.
Maybe
Fuck the studio for not giving him the suit. Serious?
Yeah, that's
I
cold-blooded.
think Christian Bale like did go and visit the kid, but like he didn't have the suit on.
Then the kid was all upset, like, I don't want fucking Bruce Wayne. Who gives a
We
shit?
probably also don't know the specifics of this story.
And then Christian Bale is probably like, "Well, beggars can't be choosers in your situation."
Wow.
Christian Bale, I heard, is a very nice guy. I'm sure he didn't say that at all.
Beggars are also not sick and dying kids.
Actually, a lot of the beggars are sick and dying kids.
Okay, fair point.
Yeah.
Well, for the uninitiated, this is the Creatively Challenged podcast, where each and every week we talk entertainment news, sick and dying kids. We review a movie and discuss random topics that we bring to this $34 card table. You boys ready for some news?
Yeah.
Dan, you got our first story.
All right, so I'm stretching. I'm
That's
yawning.
lovely.
Yeah. Okay, so last week it was huge news, huge moves that that Michael Bay is producing a live action Dora the Explorer movie. I'll tell you what, anybody who thinks this isn't going to be fucking awesome is stupid. This is going to be fucking sick. You're going to have Dora, and she's going to be fucking, it's probably going to be like Megan Fox.
Whitewashing.
Yeah, they're going to like, and then they're going to have like like a Transformer has boots and and then
A mutant Ninja Turtle as Swiper.
and then they might make like the map. They might like make them like an iPhone app or something like that. Like, I think that'd be pretty cool.
I think this sounds fucking terrible.
No, dude, give it a chance.
It's Michael Bay.
I know, but it's
But the adventure could
that's
be
what
cool.
that's what I'm
the
saying.
adventure could be cool.
Like he
I
made
agree
like
with that.
Transformers like really cool, and then not so much at the same time. Like before the 2007 Transformers movie, like there were just a bunch of lame Transformers cartoons.
Well, those cartoons are beloved. No, that's a fact.
and then
2007 one. I'm not gonna lie, it's great.
he ruined Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, so he's not really coming off of a high note. But you know,
Well, he's also not directing; he's producing. Let's
Yeah,
take
so-
that
And he
into
didn't
account.
direct the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles either, did he?
No, he produced them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But his paws weren't entirely shown in that movie. It wasn't just explosions the whole time either. It was definitely not a great representation.
what would piss me off about those Ninja Turtles movies was that like Pizza Hut was like heavily sponsored in that movie for
he
product
always
placement.
has product placement. in
Yeah,
his
and
movies.
then but Pizza Hut.
Apple iPhone. That'll be the product placement in Dora the Explorer.
Yeah, it could be. Very well could be.
Could be.
iPhone-
Series,
iPhone-
the map.
iPhone X because Spanish.
There was
What diez?
there's a big
No.
push for Mark Wahlberg to star as Backpack. I think that'd be really funny.
Open me up.
Backpack.
You're gonna turn left, Dora.
Backpack, yeah. Could you imagine? It's like Mark Wahlberg.
It's just Sergeant Dignam as Backpack, and he just cusses at Dora.
He's like, open me up, I got shit inside. No, but the thing I was pissed about, like, about Pizza Hut, not only does Pizza Hut suck, but, like, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were, like, eating Pizza Hut and enjoying it. Okay, they're turtles in a half shell in New York City. There's way better pizza in New York City than fucking Pizza Hut.
Yeah, you go to Sbarro like Michael Scott.
Yeah. Dude, Sbarro's pretty good. I like it.
For a chain, it's all right.
Yeah. I like, they always have them at the mall. They have calzones, and they're fucking great.
Are you a calzone guy?
I like calzones.
They're good, but I don't see the point.
They're like pizza sub sandwiches. They're all wrapped up.
It's convenient.
Yeah. No, I'm not disagreeing. I just rather have a pizza like any day of the week.
Well, yeah, but like if you're on the go, just get a calzone. You can,
Nah, it's
you can
smaller.
hold on to it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
It's kind of like a bigger Hot Pocket.
Exactly.
Ryan, we didn't get your full-fledged opinion on Dora the Explorer.
I don't think that we need to. I think it'll just be a kids movie. Like, it doesn't mean that it's gonna be all explosions and stuff because it's Michael Bay. I think it'll probably just be fucking like every other kids movie that comes out these days. It's just kind of weird to see his name attached to it because normally he's got like the more boyish properties, if we could say that, like his Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Transformers. But now Dora, it's interesting, and to see it in live action, I just don't really know how that's gonna work at all. Like,
Will Diego be in the
there-
movie?
we'll see. Maybe a love interest.
Fuck Go Diego Go, okay?
But
I agree.
Yeah.
is the movie going to educate us on Spanish? I don't really know what the goal is. Why are they setting out to make this movie?
Probably not. They're probably going to leave the education crap to Nick Jr. and just make like a fucking kick-ass action movie. With
Action
Dora the
adventure.
Explorer.
It's
yeah.
hard to think Michael Bay won't have any action in a project that he's involved in.
And
know?
explosions. Like they're gonna have that fucking Benny the Bull. Isn't that his name?
I believe what there is.
Like
a
I know
bull. don't think
Benny the
it's-
Bull is the
yeah.
name of the Chicago Bulls mascot, but I'm pretty
it is Benny.
I'm
I think
pretty
it's
sure
Benny,
Benny
yeah.
is the bull, and that
Yeah.
he's Blue Idiot. And then there's the big red chicken. Remember Tico? He was a little fucking raccoon or whatever, and he drove around
Oh,
in
yeah.
a car.
Listen, Swiper's the scene stealer.
Yeah.
I just,
Oh man.
it's like the format.
me.
The format of Dora doesn't lend
What a
itself.
fucking idiot.
It doesn't lend itself to.
Is he a fox?
It doesn't lend
come on.
itself.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
It doesn't lend itself, Dan, to a feature-length film. An episode of Dora is just her getting from one place to another. There's a goal set. I just don't know how this is gonna work. As an action adventure, I don't know. I'm gonna pay to see it. I'm excited for a trailer and some casting news, but like, what is this?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm curious as to see like how this trailer goes. Like I was just been putting it together ever since this
Yeah.
was announced. Like, how are they gonna promote this? How are they gonna?
Before Nick Jr. there was.
Okay, let's look at it like this. Sesame Street
Yeah.
is an institution. Sesame Street has had feature films where the characters just do things out. It's not Elmo teaching us about shapes. Elmo's
More
going
for
and
the
doing something.
Muppets.
Yeah, the Muppets as well. Like the same thing will happen. So this could work. I got faith in it.
The Muppets movie was good. Anyone see it?
The
I
new
didn't
one?
See it. I didn't
All the
see it.
Muppets movies are good.
they are?
I didn't like the
always
newest
have
one with
huge
Ricky Gervais.
cameos.
Is that the
Yeah,
one
that one's
Christoph
not
Waltz
as
is
good.
in?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But like the Muppets movie with Jason Segel's good.
yeah.
But I would way prefer a live action Blue's Clues movie before Dora the Explorer.
How about Clifford the Big Red Dog?
Actually, I'm pretty sure like that's like in development.
Fucking
At
huge,
some point
dude.
in
He's
time.
ginormous.
Yeah, I like that show. That was on like PBS.
It was on PMS.
They're gonna Clifford's gonna get a little too riled up and then just murder somebody, and then they're gonna have to put him down. And that's the battle in the action
Cujo
adventure.
2 Electric Boogaloo.
Oh God. Well,
We've spoken our piece.
that's the news on that. Our next piece of news is my story. I am going to read the story for you now.
Thanks.
It's been confirmed by the director of Logan, James Mangold, that he is working on the screenplay for an X-23 movie. And if you don't remember who X-23 is, that's the little girl from Logan, who also has the Wolverine-esque powers. And so now we're getting maybe a continuation from Logan in the same worlds. What's up, Mike?
Well, I was going to say, let's try not to spoil anything from Logan besides the fact that she's a character
Sure.
from Logan, because it just came out this year.
Did I spoil anything?
No,
Okay.
I'm just saying,
I-
as a general
Yeah.
throw out. Probably should have said that before the show,
But it's
we're
been out on Blu-ray since like June, so you've had the opportunity to watch it.
It's still this year, though.
Yeah,
and
let's
not
just-
everyone makes it out to the
We don't need to go into spoilers anyway, but this movie, do you guys think it'll be a continuation on from Logan, or will it be something different?
Yeah, the little band of mutants that she's with, I'm curious to see them get flushed out more. Even if they're involved, we don't know. But her specifically, she was awesome. She was so good in that movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, and with Mangold coming back, I think this is gonna be a really good project. There's nothing. The only thing that would have upset me is saying a direct sequel to Logan, where none of the consequences mattered in that movie. But with a continuation with her story, it makes sense because they set her up like she's going to be a future character. Do you guys think she will? Well, actually, no, because the universe that the X-Men are in right now is he was in the future. So, yeah. So maybe she's the new brand that they're going to build off of.
Bran Stark.
Yeah.
It seems like Fox has their head on the right way with everything. They're making the right decisions with their future projects. They're, as we talked about the other week, with New Mutants, they're going for more they're not as commercial, and these movies are more exploring stories than just pushing a marketing brand of just here's an X-Men movie this summer, go watch it. So yeah, I'm all for this. They knew that they'd struck gold with Logan. They put a good creative team behind it. It made a lot of money, if I'm not mistaken, and it was received well by audiences and critics all around. So yeah, I'm all for this, man. Do you guys think that they're going to keep Daphne Keane in it, the daughter, or
They have to. She's fucking awesome.
Unless
just about
to
she's
say-
grown
Time
up.
I was just about to say, like, she's the best, like, probably one of the best parts of Logan. I mean, Logan's a great movie, but like she was stellar, and like if she doesn't come back, then I'll start to doubt this project. But with James Mangold and the success that they had with Logan and how great she was in her role, like she's got to come back. I mean, she made the movie.
I'm interested if it's going to explore that like Western kind of frontier landscape again, because they left off in the woods.
They went up to Canada.
Yeah.
But maybe she gets involved with Deadpool, because
No, he's before all that. I think still.
yeah, that's a different
there
time.
might be
Yeah.
some future Deadpool.
Oh, with Cable.
Could be.
With Cable. Yeah,
There's no
that's
telling.
totally possible.
Yeah, because like he's Canadian.
Oh wait, that was that might maybe.
In X-Force.
Yeah, that might be the connection because they're working on a project for a team called X-Force, which is sort of like a mutant Avengers. You could think a team of superheroes that are all mutants and stuff like that. So maybe with this time travel business in Deadpool 2, because Cable can time travel, we might see maybe X-23 in future.
Dude, I could see
X-Men.
some funny banter
Yeah.
between X-23 and Deadpool.
Be
I think
good.
that'd be so funny. But I'm full into this. I'm excited that this officially got announced, because immediately after Logan ended, like, you know, I mean, we know what happened. The way it ended is just kind of like, oh, well.
End of one story, beginning of another.
Yeah,
kind
so,
of thing.
you know, I mean, there was a bridge there that they wanted to do, and I'm glad they're going over it. And, you know, with James Mangold, it seems like he did a great job with Logan. So going forward, I think we're in good hands here, and I think Daphne Keane coming back for this X-23 movie would be a really great thing, and I'm excited for it.
Sweet.
Moving on
Sure.
to another form of the superhero genre. We're going to the small screen, and Vincent D'Onofrio, who has played Wilson Fisk in both Daredevil's Season 1 and guest appearing in Season 2, has been confirmed that he is coming back for Season 3. With how the Defenders left off, you didn't know the direction they were really going to take this. This is news I was actually really hoping to see, because with Season 2 of Daredevil, they never said anything on if he was coming back. It was just boom, one episode, and he had his arc in Season 2, which kind of confirmed that he would be a big player to stay. But yeah, it looks like he's coming back in full force. Do you guys think that he will be still in prison? I think it's going to end with him in the season getting out of prison, and then he's going to be the full-fledged villain in Season 4. I think this is still going to be a stepping stone for his character.
I think he's gonna break out like mid-season. The way Daredevil's gone so far is like halfway through the season, like shit kind of starts to go down. I mean, it's just like, kind of like very similar to like Game of Thrones style of season, where like the beginning's kind of slow, first couple episodes, like there's a lot of dialogue, a lot of explanation for everything like that, and then around like episode 5 or 6, shit starts to go down. So I think like the first couple episodes of Season 3, like, you know, like he might be, because New York's like looking at, and Hell's Kitchen's like looking for a threat at this moment in time. I mean, after the Defenders, like I keep forgetting that like we watched the entirety of the Defenders in like a week, if that, and that show kind of went by like very quick. It was an enjoyable show, but like now I have to like factor in what happened to Daredevil at the end of that too. There's a lot, without spoilers for the Defenders, like there's a lot Matt has to do to get back into the swing of things as well. So I think the first few episodes of the season could very well be like Matt and Fisk kind of getting back to where they're supposed to be, and then that'll lead to Daredevil having to put a stop to it, you know.
Ryan, are you excited that he's coming back, and where do you think they're going to take his storyline?
Yeah, it's awesome that he's coming back, because usually in comics, for most of the New York based heroes, Wilson Fisk is always a player that comes into things, because he's kind of got his fingers in with everybody. He's
His
always
Fisks in on everything.
sure.
All right.
And so that threw me off. But he's, where was I?
He's got his fingers in on everything.
No, yeah. But what was the question? Wow.
Are you excited he's coming back, and where do you think his arc is going?
Yes. Okay. I found myself again. So because he's kind of in with everybody, he is most definitely going to make it out of prison. There's no doubting that. And absolutely he should be back. He's he's such a great character, and he's got a lot behind him, and they used a lot of the first season of Daredevil to flesh him out. So he'll be back for sure. Do you want to see Wilson Fisk in other shows in the Marvel Netflix series, or do you want to see him in movies? If that would,
I don't want to see him in movies.
No,
because his character fits so well. Because the reason in my opinion, he is the best character in what they've developed in the Marvel small screen. Just my opinion.
Agree.
No.
But it's like he could appear in other shows, but I do like his story specific to Matt. And he's not even the Kingpin yet, so he definitely could appear in other shows. He's starting to become that, as you see in Prison. He wasn't quite there. He was more of a mob boss in season 1, and then you kind of start to see him making his connections in Prison. And I think in this season we will see, but I don't know if we'll see him in anything else.
What I'm hoping for is that we do see him in something else, and I think the biggest thing that can happen is after Phase 4 for Marvel is to bring the TV shows and the movies together, because Iron Man's probably going to be done, Captain America's probably going to be done, Thor's probably going to be done. Like, I think, because Fisk, like Ryan said, is huge as a Spider-Man villain as well. I want to see, like, Daredevil, Charlie Cox's Daredevil, and Tom Holland's Spider-Man on the same screen. Like, I think that'd be awesome. And I don't know, like, what the contracts look like for Marvel to do that. Obviously, it's all Disney Marvel, and, like, the tone of the TV shows are, like, you know, a lot more darker than the movies. But, like, I think that'd be awesome. Because Wilson Fisk is a huge Marvel villain, and he does have a lot of, you know, enemies that he does fight, including some of the Avengers. So I would like to see him expand, because Vincent D'Onofrio's Wilson Fisk is like the best that I've seen. I mean, R.I.P. in peace to
Michael
Clark Duncan, who played him in the Ben Affleck version. But like, I want to see him in more things than just Daredevil, because I think he can. If Vincent D'Onofrio's up for it, then like, yeah, I think they should like use him as much as they can, but not overuse him, because there certainly is a point in which you can.
The only problem I have with that is because of episodes like when you see him as a kid and with his father, like how that came to play, and like the Russian mobster when he takes his head off with the door. That level of violence and physicality you can't really do in the movies. I mean,
yeah,
like,
but that story's done. That's what I'm saying. Like, he's all that's left for him now is to be the Kingpin, and because if they put him in something else, those show creators or that film director has to assume that you've seen his backstory on Daredevil. They wouldn't go back to it. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, if they were to go forward with him,
I get what you're saying now. So it's like he was established already, and now he's just the Kingpin. Yeah. I get what you're saying with that. What I think the direction I think they're gonna go is, and it's based off a comic that Ryan told me about, is I think that you're gonna see that they set up a possible engagement between him and the Punisher in prison, and Punisher's like, if I see you again, I'm gonna kill you. I think you're gonna end up seeing Karen, who's like the mutual friend of Matt and Frank. I think you're gonna see her maybe bite the dust, and it's gonna bring them back together to take down Fisk, whether it's in season 3 or season 4, I don't know. But that's my prediction on what might happen.
Now, just quickly getting back to, and I totally agree that that's going to happen probably. Like, it's such an essential part in the Daredevil lore, but I'm not going to get into that because it's a lot of spoilers. But I don't think the Punisher has any business in the cinematic universe. It's a totally different tone. Like, imagine if we saw Christian Bale's Dark Knight in the new Justice League movie. It just doesn't work. The way he interacts with characters and how brutal he is, it doesn't fit.
No, I agree. But that's what I'm saying. Like, out of the the TV shows, like Daredevil would definitely be the best one to have in the movies, and because him and Spider-Man are friends, like Matt and Peter Parker like end up being friends in a lot of storylines because they take down Fisk. And so, like, I think if anything were to happen between movie and TV shows, it'd strictly be Daredevil and Spider-Man. And that's kind of what I want.
I'd love to see them, but it's just the characters in the Netflix shows. There's like an established kind of weight with them that I don't associate the two. They're binary to me in a way. But if they found a way, it'd be cool. But it just wouldn't feel like all the movies they've already done if they were to bring them into the big screen. But that's my 2 cents.
I just think like they do exist in the same universe, and the TV shows like clearly work as TV shows. I mean, characters like Jessica Jones and Luke Cage, like, you know, I mean, how well would they do on the big screen? We don't know. And Daredevil didn't work on the big screen, really. I mean, that's probably production and writing and everything like that. But, like, you know, clearly these TV shows have done something great, and they are great TV shows, and I'm not going to mention Iron Fist in that. But they do exist in the universe that the Avengers are in. So I'm thinking, like, going forward, Marvel's going to have to do something to, like, keep people coming, because Iron Man's going to be gone, Cap's going to be gone, Thor's going to be gone, Hulk's probably going to be gone. Like, they're going to need to, and Spider-Man and Guardians are like, and maybe Doctor Strange are like the future of Marvel after them. So, you know, like something big of bringing the TV shows and the movies together would be really cool. But I completely agree with you in terms of like the Punisher wouldn't make sense in the big movie because he's all about gore and killing, and that's not what the Avengers are about. So, you know,
Time will tell.
I can't wait to see his ginormous figure in that white suit.
yeah.
He's gonna look so.
He hasn't worn a
awesome.
white suit yet, has he?
No.
No.
It got lighter though as the season went on. I'm pretty sure.
Purple ascot.
Yeah, yeah. And then in the prison, he was wearing all white.
All right, our next piece of news, we're all going to have to say it once. And I'm going to count from 3.
What?
Yeah. 3, 2, and this is transitioning into our next topic.
I got it.
1.
No.
There's only one police in this town.
That doesn't even make sense.
No, not at all.
Okay. We saw an entire TV show season in one day. We saw Stranger Things Season 2, or Stranger Things 2, as they're calling it.
And Stranger Things Dos in Spanish-speaking
Yes.
countries.
And so- Thanks, Dan.
And in French.
Yeah. What's 2 in German?
Zwei.
Sorry, we're past it.
And so Friday, we all got home from class and just watched it until, what, like 11 p.m.?
Yeah.
We just sat down for hours. It was a great way to do nothing. And so we watched the whole season in one sitting, which is a great way to enjoy anything that's like over 8 episodes. It's great. But are we doing a breakdown of positives and negatives? How do you guys want to do this?
I think we just do positives, negatives, very minutiae on the story, and like not score it, because as we did with Thrones, it's really hard to score a show when you haven't seen the entirety of it and how it all links up.
Sure.
So I think we just do a general discussion of what we liked and disliked about the season.
Why don't you start us off, Mike?
I'm acting like I'm having trouble to come up with it. Nah, I love this season. It was almost as good as the first. We'll touch on that in a second. But what I really loved is it delivered. It expanded the Upside Down, which I really enjoyed. Number one, cool new creatures, some returning creatures, and it all worked together really well, and it developed more thrills. But what I really, really loved about this season was how it developed its already established great characters. Specifically, you saw characters like Mike, who was a central part in season 1 and still very, very integral in this season, but he takes a bit of a step back, and you see characters like Dustin and Lucas take a step forward, which was really cool for me. What I didn't expect was someone in the first episode of the show, I'm like, this guy's going to suck. And to this point, he is maybe one of my top 5 favorite characters is Steve, who you just thought was going to be the typical douchebag, but I love the direction they go with him. It was very, it was by the numbers at points, but it really worked because I just think the, what's his name, Joe Keery or something like that, whoever plays him, I just think he embodied it so well, and he could come across as a douchebag, but he comes across as a really like sympathetic guy. He kind of seems like an average guy, which is really cool. And, you know, without saying, how they develop Hopper and 11, my favorite part of the season for sure. Their storylines were so cool with how it started, in the middle, and how it came together. I just loved it, and it was to me. I'm gonna rewatch it like I did the first season. I'll probably love it again. I truly think that this is Netflix's best product far and away. It's so fucking unique. The Duffer Brothers, they know what they're doing.
I completely agree with everything you said. I mean, we have to talk about how the characters developed from season 1 to season 2. This season picks up right in stride with the first season. We'll get into more of why it's not quite as good, but just as enjoyable as the first season. Got to go with character development. I mean, you build off of great characters that they had in season 1, and they build off of it most definitely Hopper and 11. And then I got to say, I loved Will being involved in this season. Clearly, he's not in the Upside Down, but there's some PTSD bullshit going on. And I mean, you're going to have to watch the season to know what I'm talking about. But like, you know, I mean, it was just awesome how they associated him with the story now. And I really like the way they're going to move forward into the upcoming seasons. But he really worked for this season. All the kids were great again, just great banter. And then the teenagers, Jonathan, Nancy, and Steve, like they still had an importance in the plot. I really liked Jonathan and Nancy's development as well. And then Steve kind of reacting to that was great. But just really well done. Another really well-written season by the Duffer Brothers, and I completely agree with you. Netflix's best product, without a doubt. And, you know, I'll get into more into negatives, but, you know, it wasn't really negative. I mean, for the positive storyline, Dustin and Lucas, you touched on it on a little bit. It made me mad, but it didn't affect how the season went because it drove the story. But Dustin turns from like a very funny, awesome character that everybody loves into an absolute moron in this season. I mean, I'm not going to go any further than there, but it almost made me mad that Dustin turned into a fucking moron.
And when Ryan was like, well, why would he do that? And I'm like, well, we got to remember. And Ryan, he's like, I agree. I'm like, they're kids.
Yeah.
They're going to make stupid fucking decisions. I mean, they're already doing enough, but they're bound to be flawed. Ryan, what were some of your positives?
That's something you really, we're gonna go back and forth about this. Like, that's something you really made a good point about, is that they just are kids. Because if they were adults and they weren't talking about the things that are going on, I would say, oh, this is a stupid season, this is an idiot plot, this is bullshit. But they're kids. We all have those stories where we did stupid stuff when we were kids, and we look back and we're like, oh, Jesus, I should have done something differently. But that's a whole nother thing. Part of what makes this show so good is the time it takes in beats between big advances in events that it takes to spend time developing the characters and building relationships. For some reason, during one of those points in the show, it made me think about, like, I don't know that you guys have watched a lot of them, but like the CW superhero shows like Arrow and Flash, they kind of fail sometimes, I would say, and maybe it's in consequence of writing and it's just bad moments, but they don't really get that. They don't hit the nail on the head with how people get to sort of have rapport, or how they kind of get to know each other.
The interactions aren't genuine.
Exactly. Yeah. That's much better than I could have put it. And so you don't get those genuine interactions, and it doesn't feel really real. But there's something about Stranger Things where they totally capture that just right, and that's always what brings me into a show more than the premise of if it's sci-fi or if it's some girl show. I'm gonna watch a girl show if it has, or a girly type show. 2017. if that show is going to have great, genuine character interactions, if it's going to have great, genuine character interactions, I'm going to be involved in the show much more. And it 10 out of 10 did that this season. It's a lot of the same, but that's exactly what I would ask for. Mm-hmm. It's great that we got to see more of the Upside Down, but you guys have already said all my points I ever could have said.
We forgot to mention, okay, Winona Ryder was great again as Will's mom, but Sean Astin as Bob Newby. Bob Newby, superhero.
Bob Newby, Sean Astin and Paul Reiser were awesome.
Yeah.
Actually, all the maybe besides
the new
Matt,
cast members,
but
yeah.
what's Billy? Was he the name of the brother? Billy, I can't think of the actor's name. Sean Astin who plays Bob and Paul Reiser who plays the Doctor. I thought they were all fantastic additions to the show, and they were able to fit it in without the plot feeling convoluted. There's a lot of characters in this show, and they balance the timeline so well together, and how they end up conjoining. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, everything really is choreographed just right, except for one episode, which we'll get into. Do you want to get into the negatives?
We'll just jump into it.
All right.
Episode 7.
Let's say so.
It is 7.
7. Episode 7 is a weak episode by just the all around, and I will not get into spoilers, but it just tonally shifts, and the point it leaves off on is such a cliffhanger that if this was a standard television show, I think it would have ridiculed and pissed off a lot of people. But the fact that you can just binge right through it, I think kind of saves it. Mm-hmm. Because I'll use it for an example. The Walking Dead season, I think it's season 6, how it ended. One of the biggest cliffhangers ever, and it outraged fans. Now that was the end of the season, and you would have only had to wait a week. But from where episode 6 left off and to where episode 8 picks up, 7 is such a filler, and it almost takes the punch away. Mm-hmm. So, and I really just think it came at a poor time, and the characters that were introduced during it were pretty useless by where the season ended up. So it's honestly been the only fatal flaw I think the show's had to this point.
And let's just keep that really surface level with what it is. But I would even say skip episode 7. I honestly think it adds nothing but a little bit of character development for another character in it. But ultimately, like, skip it, because it's the only complaint I have about the season.
Yeah. Now, skip it in terms of, like, you know, in terms of flow and everything for the season, but it does have background for Eleven's character, and it's essential for that. But I think of it as if this entire season wasn't released on one day.
That's what I was just saying.
Yeah. So if this wasn't Netflix's, releasing the entire season on one day, you get to week 7. There's 2 episodes after it. I would have been pissed off that entire week from Sunday to Sunday. Like if that's what I was left off on, like episode 7 just kind of threw everything off, and it was like, I think it was the shortest episode of the season too. It was about 45 minutes, when the rest of the episodes were usually around 50 to 55. And then this one was just shorter, didn't add much substance to 11, added a little bit of background, for some other character, and it was just unnecessary at the point in time. And if we weren't sitting there watching the entire season at once, I completely agree with you guys, it would have just ruined a week for me after that. But here's the thing I won't say, because it does add, context to like the entire season. Those characters might show up again in season 3 or 4.
They might.
So, I
just don't want them to leave Hawk. Well, no, that's it. I'm not going any further than that.
Let's not delve into that episode too much.
But yeah, I think that's
episode 7 is not as good.
I will say,
as
I think
the
7 could have been, that storyline could have been cut down a lot more, and the season could have been 8 episodes, and I probably would have liked it as much as the first season.
Yeah.
And
you
not
guys-
saying that and I still love this season.
Do you have any complaints about anything
Anything
else in the
else?
show besides that episode?
I didn't end up hating. It took almost the whole season, but by the end, I was fine with Max.
There's a new character introduced into the member as a member of like the gang of kids in the show, and I initially, while we were watching it, I was just like, I am not for this, guys. This is so ham-fisted. It sucks. And she comes around a bit, you know. But at first, it just felt really weird the way she was written in. Even like what she says to them, it just felt weird. It was like there's a new season of a show and they added some new actor. Well, that's exactly what happened. But it felt kind of like in Scooby-Doo where they added Scrappy-Doo and he's like, I'm here now. That's exactly what happened with this girl. But it worked.
By the end,
Yeah, it worked.
I think, you know, I want to give her a bit more time. She felt awkward, but then again, she was the new kid at school, and she was definitely like a new actress among these kids who have already worked together for a season. So I want to see how she develops in season 3. I didn't like her at first, but she grew on me towards the end. But I still don't know whether I completely like her character in the show or not, because we'll just see. We'll just have to see how she moves forward. And now that she's got more experience working with these kids, and she's no longer like the new girl at school in both the actual acting world and in the show, she might become better. But like, yeah, no, I completely agree. Like, she kind of just felt different. And
I'm not mad when I see her on screen anymore.
Yeah.
I'm more like she's there.
yeah.
And she'll play her part.
And
That's where I'm at. with her.
Yeah, and she actually like played a role in bringing like the friend group back together again too, like in terms of like, you know, and I won't really get into that, but yeah, she does play a big role kind of at the end, and she does okay. And but another thing, I guess, so season 1 was really heavily centralized on Mike and Eleven, and I think the focus shifted, and this season was kind of more about like Will and Hopper, kind of. Like it, because Mike and Eleven were without a doubt, like, you know, like everybody had their own big storylines in season 1, but Mike and Eleven were definitely like the two like main characters, you know. And I think for my liking, Mike wasn't really like involved as much in this season as he was in season 1. And, you know, besides episode 7 where, you know, that provided Eleven's story, besides episode 7 where she got that entire episode to like herself, she wasn't in it that much either. So like I guess if I'm nitpicking about the season, like, you know, like, sorry, Mike and Eleven are like two of my favorite characters, but yeah, they weren't heavily focused on as much, but it did provide to counter that. It did provide more time for other characters to become more developed. Like I said about Dustin, like we saw another side of him that we didn't see in season 1 that kind of made you mad at him, but he was still a great character. And what a show.
Jim Hopper for president, 2020.
Absolutely. Anything else on this season?
No, that's it. Another great season. Can't wait for.
Can't wait for season 3, and we're a year away because we watch it all at once.
It's okay.
Yeah, check it out. Well, Dan has a main topic.
Oh, are we gonna Goldblum it?
No.
No.
Oh,
Established that.
Dan has a main topic for us this week that Mike and I don't know. We're doing this
Yeah.
again, a surprise topic on the spot. Dan, what do you got?
because I wanted to catch you guys off guard because I love like hearing just spur of the moment, hear you guys how to react. Because if you had time to think about it, you think differently about yourself and how you would answer the question. So I was thinking in terms of Stranger Things, and because Battlefront 2 comes out in another couple weeks, I'm getting back into my Star Wars swing. If you guys were granted like superpowers, kind of like Eleven's or kind of like the Force, where it's not like, oh, you're shooting fucking fire out of your hands or anything like that. If you were granted these powers, how do you think you would use them? Like for good or evil, just kind of walk the middle? Like what would you do with these powers?
There's a question that comes to mind. Do we have the same powers as Eleven in Stranger Things? What do we have?
Yeah. You got to be.
Yeah, that's
More
way too
specific.
broad.
I said moreover like 11
Okay.
and the Force, so you can move shit with your mind.
So like telekinesis.
Yeah.
Okay. And we're talking in like an everyday sense.
Yeah.
I would use it very discreetly, but like to my advantage to get ahead and stuff. You know. So I there would be no reason for me to use it like in a sense of like a gimmicky like I would be good or evil or fight crime. I wouldn't do any of that. I just use it in like how it would help myself and the people around me in a general sense in everyday life, but I would also use it like very discreetly. I know it's like a generic answer, but it's the most realistic thing I can think of, like in terms of like how 11 can like read people's minds and shit like that.
Would you
like,
tell people that you have it? That's another thing.
I don't think so. That would just draw like attention,
Yeah.
and you, regardless of how highly you think of your friends and the people around you, word will get out. I don't think I'd tell anybody.
Like you wanna say that you'd use it. I mean, it's not really like selfish if you're using them for your own gain, is it? I mean, you have the powers.
I don't think so. I just think it's the most realistic thing of what most people would do.
Yeah. I would be nice. I could make like breakfast while I'm getting ready in the shower. That's like the first thing I thought.
Well, it's like, yeah, general stuff like that helps you get ahead.
I'm gonna make hella eggs with these powers. I don't know if I'm gonna help people, but I'm gonna have some breakfast. I'll tell you what.
Hopefully it's not like the beginning of like Back to the Future where like your toast is burning because you like leave it down too long.
No.
And Einstein's like food bowl gets too full.
Is that the name of his dog?
Yeah.
Okay. I haven't seen that in forever. I don't know what I'd do though. Like, yeah, you want to say you could help people, but how often are you walking in a city and you hear like a
right.
scream? That
But
doesn't
I do
happen.
shit like if someone pisses me off, I'd make them trip and stuff like
Oh
that.
yeah, dude.
See, that's what I was gonna say. Like, people might judge me for saying like this, but like the amount of like small little things with people that just irritate me throughout the day, and like things that I see, like I wish I could just like make them trip or like push them over or like fucking like pull their pants down or something without like doing it. Like I see this fucking kid in the library frequently without any goddamn shoes on, and I just want to like fucking like use the force and just like pull him out of his chair, and he bumps his head on the fucking ground, and then he's bleeding and he dies.
I tell you what I would do. Wow. I tell you what I would do. I'd go to Vegas and fucking cheat and get rich and fuck off the rest of my life.
Yeah, it all
That
comes
is
back to
what
that,
I would
doesn't
do.
it, right? It's just, man, yeah. So like you know, everybody. This is why I want to like ask this question, because like at first thought, like it's not like, oh, I'm gonna use these powers for good, because it's not like, I mean,
It's not realistic.
no, it's not. Like, you know, I'd like to think that like if I saw somebody in trouble, I'd
Help 'em.
know,
Yeah,
I'd
obviously.
help 'em.
Yeah.
But like I wouldn't like, you know, become like a superhero where I like, you know, fight for justice and all that noise. Like I'd use it fully to my advantage, and I'd pick on people who fucking piss me off or, you know, deserve it. And yeah, I'd use it to read minds or get things that I need to get. And, you know, I think I would like keep it a secret, but like maybe you guys could be like my guys in chairs if I had them.
Can you explain what that is for people that haven't seen Spider-Man: Homecoming?
Okay, so there's a big fat kid named Ned, and he's Peter Parker's friend in Spider-Man: Homecoming. And then once he finds out that Peter is Spider-Man, he says, "I want to be your guy in a chair." And there's always a guy in a chair who like sits back at headquarters on his computer and like tells Spider-Man stuff on the go.
I love that part of that.
Ryan, I was saying I would just cheat in Vegas
I
and get
heard
rich
that.
and fuck
Yeah.
off, right?
Dude, it's amazing how like we couldn't think of anything about like, oh yeah, I'll help people.
Yeah.
But there's so much more opportunity that you think of for like doing the wrong thing. I think that says something about us. But how often are you going to be able to stop a mugging? Not often, but you're going to be able to do things to help you selfishly way more often than that.
Would you steal Eggo waffles from the Jewel?
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't do stuff like steal or anything like
No.
that. I wouldn't do anything like massively criminal. You know, I just want to. Like I said, if I would just get my money in Vegas, I could just be a piece of shit the rest of my life and have to bother nobody with my powers. Live a life of isolation with the people around me. That's it.
I like to flip a car on somebody.
Like, and they're dead? They're
Yeah.
dead?
No,
Oh.
they're severely hurt. But not injured. They're hurt, not injured.
Okay, they're just like, ow.
Yeah.
That happens when cars
They're
flip
just
on you.
they're just like they're like day to day, week to week on the roster. But like if there's somebody in traffic and he's like, you know, beeping and cutting in front of people, like I might like push his car over.
Yeah. I think inherently people can't handle if they're given insane amounts of power. Like, I don't know how anyone keeps it together if they're the president. Obviously, they have a huge like network of support. But if you had superpowers, I don't know what the human reaction would be to that.
Except for Sheev, he had unlimited power.
And he couldn't handle it.
Well, he could, but he couldn't handle his pupil's power, who eventually overthrew him.
This is Star Wars.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But I agree with you. Like, imagine just waking up and you can move shit with your mind and you can fucking destroy things with a blink of an eye. Like, that'd be crazy. And I think to all people, like, you know, people would just be like, there's that massive intimidation factor that only you know about. Like, if you woke up with powers, you'd be like, I could fucking crush everybody to a pulp. And that's not like a dark thought. That's just like people knowing what they can do.
Yeah.
And a lot of people would use that for not good. They just crush people who piss them off, and not like use it for comedic purposes, like making them trip. They'd actually kill them.
Yeah.
You know?
That's why you'd have to make sure no one like finds out about it. Because if like the world knew what would happen, that would be really bad. I don't even think like you'd go to jail probably, right?
The government would come after you and put you in a gigantic fucking, or they might kill you. Yeah, the government would come, like if they found out about your powers, it'd be like E.T. and there's a guy with the keys and helicopters and trucks and they come after you. Maybe like 2003's Eric Bana Hulk, where he's out in the desert and they're firing shit at him and he fucking lives. Or it's like the end of X-Men First Class and like the Cuban Missile Crisis. Just every missile in the world is coming at you and you just fucking turn them all around and fire them back.
That'd be fun.
That was nuts.
yeah, that was a great movie.
Or in Days of Future Past when he lifts the fucking stadium.
Yeah.
And he entrenches the White House.
That'd be cool too. But here's the thing: you'd have to have tissues all the time because your nose would be bleeding like right after it. So, oh man,
Left nostril.
Yeah, and if you keep like, you know, having to buy tissues, like, I might like
Just buy them in bulk.
Get a Sam's Club membership. You're good.
Tissues are cheap.
Yeah.
might steal the tissues.
That's
You
hard
can
to
become a millionaire, a billionaire actually, if you just play roulette and just make it land on fucking black every
Yeah.
time.
Mike's and then
Tissue should not be your concern.
What if the casinos, like they saw you like moving your hands or whatever, and then they get you down, like they know what you are and they break your fucking legs.
You have telekinetic powers. They can't do dick.
Or what if they report you to the government?
This is a movie. This needs to be made.
We should write this.
See, now we're over traumatizing the situation.
Yeah.
No, we're not. Like, we're trying to imagine what would happen if this happened.
The human mind is pretty fucking dull at times. I have a hard time believing me just sitting there going like, "Oh, come on." Visual. They can't see what I'm doing. But like moving your fingers, I have a hard time believing they're like, "Oh yeah, he has the ability to move the fucking ball." They're gonna ask, "Hey, you keep winning. Leave the fucking casino."
Yeah.
That's actually what would happen. And I go to another casino.
There you go.
I talk about gambling way too much.
You brought it back to gambling. So do you gamble often, Mike?
No, but it's fun.
Yeah, it is.
Or you're just watching TV and you bought a lottery ticket and you just make the balls.
That's
like,
easiest.
fucking,
Yeah.
Like go to the numbers that you want.
Yeah.
Or would you have to be like in the television studio?
But I would wait.
Probably in.
I would
Yeah.
wait really, really long to do that till when it gets up to like 750 million or whatever, like the Mega Million. It's like, oh yeah, this is the one.
Or you could go to the dark side and fucking put on a mask and force a security guard at a bank to fucking clear the vault.
That's another one too. You don't hurt anybody.
I guess not.
No.
It's insured. They'll be fine.
Or in First Class when they're shooting at Magneto and he's deflecting the bullets like that and he hits it and it goes into Charles Xavier's back and he gets paralyzed.
You're gonna paralyze one of your friends.
Magneto's got fucking balls, man. Like he just everybody knows who he is.
Oh yeah, he's hung.
Yeah.
He's hung.
Like there's no secret identity with Eric. We
And
talked
two-
didn't we talk at the beginning of the episode like never trust an Eric, or was that one of the clips that
That was
deleted?
the cut clip.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
never trust an Eric because
Especially
they
not
might,
Eric Lencher.
Yeah, they might be Magneto.
All right. Well,
Now we're on to controlling magnets. We're off of the
Yeah,
the
no, this isn't
telekinesis.
telekinetic anymore. Can Charles Xavier like?
He is telekinetic.
I know, but he can't do what like 11 does. Like he can't move shit.
I think
I'm
his
fairly
thing is
certain.
reading people's minds. I think Jean Grey's is.
Jean
I have to
Grey
go
can
back
do
and
that.
watch.
Jean
Yeah,
Grey
Jean Grey
can
can do
move
that.
shit.
So can Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, but she's got to conjure up this like magical blood.
That shit's cool.
well,
We're done.
is that all we have on this?
Yeah. I like to think like I'd cause more mischief than evil, but I think I'd be way more selfish with my powers than good.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I think most people would definitely turn to the selfish acts,
Yeah.
but that's how we are. Well, that is this week's podcast.
How long is this one? This one doesn't feel too long.
That is this week's podcast. Remember that each and every Monday morning we upload to YouTube, SoundCloud, and
Asked you if
iTunes.
He's not on it.
Goddamn cool.
We've
He's
got
not
links to
on
those
it.
on our Facebook and Twitter page, which will be in the It's 57 Minutes.
That's good.
We've got links to those on our Facebook and Twitter page, which will be in the description. Any final thoughts?
We're gonna go see Thor
I'm
Ragnarok
so
next
excited,
week.
man.
Directed by Taika Waititi. Is that his name?
Yeah, Taika Waititi, New Zealand director. Love the guy. It's gotten great reviews, and Hulk is in
Goldblum's in it.
and Jeff Goldblum is in it. We're gonna have our first Goldblum rated
Now,
movie.
if it's great, we might want to change his face from Thor Ragnarok to one of the faces.
Yeah,
Maybe just one.
What?
Wait,
maybe we just move like Independence Day Resurgence as the last one. We move everyone down.
Oh,
one.
sorry. I
If it's
misunderstood
good. If it's
Yeah.
good, we'll see.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. And as always, thank you for listening.
Love you guys.
What if God was one of us? Just a slug like one of us.